All right, welcome to lesson 5.2. In this example, we're going to use some properties of exponents to solve these expressions. In this case, you have two like bases, and you're multiplying, and you got two rational exponents. We're just going to apply a property of exponents that you learned back when exponents used to just be, integers, but the property of exponents is going to work the same. When you have like bases and you're multiplying, you add the exponents. And that's what you're going to see here. So 5/6 and negative 1/3 will get added together. Supposed to subtract it, what have you, and you end up with 1/2. 81 to the 1/2 power, as we learned in the last lesson, is simply the square root of 81, which is 9. All right, let's look at the next one. All right, so here we're going to apply a couple properties. We're first going to deal with and simplify in the parentheses first. When you're dividing, you subtract exponents. So the first step is going to be the x will now be 1 minus 1/2. So now it's 1/2. And then when you have an exponent raised to an exponent, power properties tells you to multiply them. So 1/2 times 2/3 is 1/3. 3 times 2/3 is 2. And then we're going to write it in radical form. So instead of leaving it as a rational exponent, x to the 1/3 is the cube root of x. Y squared stayed y squared. Now you've got two questions to try here. So why don't you pause it, try it, and then come back and we can compare answers. Part A, I did up here in red. First thing I did was I simplified inside the parentheses first. 32 to the 2/5 power is the same thing as saying the 5th root of 32 squared. This works out nice because the 5th root of 32 is 2, because 2 times itself 5 times is 32. And then that still needed to get squared, so that became 4. And then you just take the square root of both 3 and 4. So it ends up being square root of 3 over 2. And then that worked out nice too, because you had a square number in the denominator. You didn't have to rationalize at the end. So again, square root of 3 over 2 is your answer to part A. For part B, there's nothing to simplify inside the parentheses like you had in the previous part A. So I just applied power to power property. 2/3 gets multiplied to A, and that 2/3 gets multiplied to B to the 1/2. So now you've got 2 times A to the 1/3 times A to the 2/3 times B to the 1/3. For the A's, they're like bases, you add the exponents. 1/3 plus 2/3 is 1. So it's just now A to the first, or just A, right? And then B to the 1/3 is the cube root of B. I'm going to leave it in radical form. And then the 2 that was out there is going to stay 2. So the coefficient is 2. So it's 2A cube root of B. All right, let's look at example 2.